It's finally here. It's game day, and the energy in Chicago is electric. The Bears are taking the national stage on Monday Night Football, and this matchup against the Minnesota Vikings feels like one of those defining moments, not just for the season, but for the future of the franchise. We're about 10 hours away from kickoff as this video goes live, and fans are buzzing with a mix of nerves, hope, and a whole lot of expectation. There's pressure, there's excitement, and there's a quarterback wearing number 18 who's carrying the weight of an entire city on his shoulders. Now let's be real, this isn't just another primetime game. This is the first huge test for Caleb Williams under the lights. And while we've seen the flashes in preseason, tonight it counts. Every decision, every throw, every scramble is going to be magnified. Not just by fans in Chicago, but by the national media that's already itching to overanalyze his every move. The noise has been loud around Caleb lately. Questions about his leadership, his attitude, even his body language. Fair or not, they've been circulating. But here's the thing. All that chatter fades away if he steps on that field and delivers. If he leads this team to a win tonight, the conversation changes. The focus shifts from controversy to potential. And that's why this game feels massive. But of course, it's not all on the quarterback. Let's talk about the injury situation because it's playing a major role in tonight's story. TJ Edwards is listed as doubtful, and realistically, it would be a shock to see him suit up. All signs point to him sitting this one out, with hopes that he can be back for the Detroit game in just under a week. That's a significant absence in the middle of the defense. Ben Johnson has already hinted that Ruben Hypolite could see more snaps, and that gives us a clear idea of where the staff is leaning. Doubtful is the new out in the NFL these days. Very rarely does a player fight through that label and actually get on the field. More importantly, though, all eyes are on the secondary. Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon are both game-time decisions. And if even one of them can't go, it completely reshapes this defense. Jalen Johnson, in particular, is the guy you'd want shadowing Justin Jefferson tonight. Without him, the matchup becomes incredibly lopsided. And with Kyler Gordon also banged up, you're suddenly relying on guys like Tariq Stevenson, Terrell Smith, and maybe even Josh Blackwell if he's cleared. That's not the situation you want when you're facing one of the most dangerous wide receiver groups in the league. The Bears' depth at corner is being tested in a serious way, and the outcome of the game might hinge on how those young guys hold up. Then there's the situation in the Vikings camp. Harrison Smith is officially out, and that's a huge loss for Minnesota. He's the heartbeat of that defense, a veteran who not only makes plays but gets everyone in the right position. Losing him on the back end opens up opportunities for Chicago to attack, especially with a quarterback like Caleb Williams who can make those deep throws when the coverage breaks down. Theo Jackson is expected to step in, and while he's a solid player, he's not Harrison Smith. This is a weakness the Bears can and should exploit. The other question mark for the Vikings is Christian Darrisaw. He's questionable after recovering from a significant knee injury, and whether or not he plays will have a massive impact on Minnesota's offensive line. If he's not out there, the Bears' pass rush needs to feast. Speaking of pressure, one of the biggest challenges tonight for Chicago is figuring out Brian Flores' blitz-heavy scheme. Flores brings pressure from every angle, and he's known for being aggressive. But here's the good news. Ben Johnson has a track record of success against Flores. Back in Detroit, he faced off with Flores 4 times and won all 4. In fact, Johnson's offense dropped 30 or more points in every single one of those games, which is absurd when you consider that Flores has only given up 30-plus points 7 times in his last 2 seasons. Johnson was responsible for more than half of them. That's not just success, that's domination. Now sure, this is a new team, a new situation, and Caleb Williams is not Jared Goff. But what that tells us is that Ben Johnson knows how to dissect Flores' blitz looks. He knows where the holes are, and if Caleb can execute, there are going to be opportunities. The big question is whether the rookie quarterback can process it fast enough. Last year, he held on to the ball too long. This preseason, he showed signs of improvement, getting the ball out faster and making quicker decisions. If he can stay under 3 seconds in time to throw tonight, that would be a huge step in the right direction. Because Flores isn't going to hold back. He's going to bring the heat. Braxton Jones and the rest of this offensive line have their work cut out for them, especially on the edges where guys like Jonathan Greenid and Andrew Van Ginkel can be disruptive. So it's going to come down to preparation, to recognizing where the pressure is coming from, and to finding the right answers on the fly, whether it's through quick throws, hot reads, or screens. This game is as much mental as it is physical for Caleb tonight. Another key factor is going to be the ground game. The Vikings' interior defensive line has taken a step back, especially after the trade that sent one of their better run stuffers to the Jets. Without that anchor, there are going to be chances to attack between the tackles. The Bears' offensive line, led by Joe Thuney, Drew Dalman, and Jonah Jackson, has to set the tone early. Establishing the run won't just help control the clock. It'll force Minnesota to stay honest, opening up the rest of the offense. And look, DeAndre Swift has the home run ability, but what we need to see tonight is consistency. Hit the holes, keep the offense on schedule, and then pick your moments to bounce outside and look for the big play. Kyle Manangai is also expected to get some carries, and his north-south running style could be effective against this Vikings front. And when the run game is clicking, that's when the shots downfield start to open up. No Harrison Smith means there's vulnerability in the Vikings secondary. Isaiah Rodgers is a starter now. Theo Jackson will be on the field. Jeff Okudah is there too. These aren't bad players, but none of them are elite. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, these guys can win one-on-ones. That intermediate and deep part of the field is going to be where the Bears can land haymakers. You don't need to force it early. But if you build momentum with short passes, if the run game gets going, the play action will be there. And when it's there, Caleb has to hit it. All eyes will be on him, not just to see if he can make the throws, but to see how he handles adversity. Does he bounce back from a bad series? Does he stay composed if the pressure gets to him? These are the intangible questions, and while we don't expect perfection, we do want to see growth. Tonight is the kind of game where you find out what kind of quarterback you've got, not just in terms of talent, but in terms of leadership, poise, and presence. We haven't even touched on Justin Jefferson yet. Slowing him down might be the single most important challenge for the Bears defense tonight, especially with Jordan Addison not expected to play. Jefferson is a machine. He's going to get targets. He's going to make plays. But because if you can slow Jefferson down, suddenly you're asking guys like Adam Thielen, Jalen Nailor, and other role players to carry the load. And that's a trade you'll take any day of the week. That's the kind of matchup you live with. You want to put pressure on J.J. McCarthy to win this game as a pocket passer. Don't let him roll out and extend plays. Keep him contained. Force him to read the field and make tough throws under pressure. This is a Bears team with a lot to prove. A new quarterback, a new identity, and a chance to show that last year's mess is in the past. We've been waiting for this moment. Now it's here. The lights are on. The stage is set. And it's time to find out what this team and this quarterback are really made of. If the Chicago Bears want to come out of this game with a win, there's no secret. They're going to have to make plays on both sides of the ball, but especially on defense. And that starts with finding a way, any way, to limit the impact of Justin Jefferson. Because let's not sugarcoat it. If Jefferson gets rolling early, and if the Bears don't have an answer, this game can get out of hand in a hurry. The guy is a route-running technician with elite ball skills, and the chemistry he has with J.J. McCarthy has already been building in camp. If the Bears go into this game missing both Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, it could be a long night for that secondary. Even with Jalen out there, at less than 100%, it's a tall task. And here's where the challenge really lies. Without Jordan Addison in the lineup, all eyes and all throws are going to Jefferson. That actually makes it a little easier to scheme against, because the offense becomes less balanced. The Bears have to take advantage of that. Roll coverage's way, use safety help, jam him at the line, get physical with him. If you're going to get beat, make sure it's not because you gave Jefferson 5 yards of cushion and let him run wild all over the field. If Jalen plays and he's tasked with shadowing Jefferson, then that's your best case scenario. If he doesn't, or if the coaches decide not to risk a full shadow assignment, then you're looking at a committee approach. Maybe some snaps for Tariq Stevenson. Maybe Terrell Smith gets thrown into the fire. And that's when things get dangerous. The Bears don't need those guys to shut Jefferson down. That's not realistic. but they need to make it hard. They need to get off the field on third downs. They need to force McCarthy into tough decisions. And speaking of McCarthy, let's talk about the rookie on the other side. It's easy to focus on Caleb Williams tonight, and understandably so, but this is also a big moment for J.J. McCarthy. He's mobile, he's confident, and he has just enough experience from his college days to believe he can make any throw. That confidence is dangerous. The Bears need to test that early. The rush lanes have to be disciplined. Don't over-pursue. Don't give him easy escape routes where he can break the pocket and make a play with his legs. Because when J.J. is outside the pocket, he's dangerous. That's when the defense breaks down, receivers improvise, and chunk plays happen. The Bears may look to spy him with Tremaine Edmunds or maybe Ruben Hypolite, depending on how much nickel they're in. But beyond that, they have to win up front. Montez Sweat needs to assert himself as the leader of this pass rush. This is why the Bears brought him in, for nights like this. If Darnell, Wright, and the rest of that Minnesota offensive line are forced to deal with consistent pressure, McCarthy will start rushing throws. He'll make mistakes, and the Bears have to capitalize. Takeaways could swing this game. One early turnover, a tip ball, a strip sack. Those are the plays that shift momentum and flip the script, especially in prime time. But the defensive plan can't just be about limiting big plays. It's also about staying resilient. If the Bears go down 7-0, they can't panic. If McCarthy breaks off a big run, that can't unravel the defensive confidence. The Bears need composure tonight. This is a team still figuring out its identity, and how they respond to adversity will say a lot about the culture Matt Eberflus is trying to build. They've talked about being tougher, more disciplined, more accountable. Well, now's the time to prove it. Now let's shift back to the offensive side, because this is where the real pressure sits tonight. Caleb Williams. All eyes are on number 18. And it's not just about the stats. It's about how he carries himself. Does he look poised when things get hectic? Does he bounce back from mistakes? Does he keep his cool if the offense stalls? This is the part of the game that doesn't show up in the box score, but it's what coaches and teammates are watching closely. They want to see leadership. They want to see that he's the guy, that he's unfazed by the moment. Because the moment is huge. Caleb doesn't need to be perfect tonight. He just needs to show growth, show command, show that he can handle a complicated defensive look and still make the right decision. He needs to stay ahead of the chains, avoid back-breaking sacks, and take the easy yards when they're there. And maybe most importantly, he needs to trust the system. Trust Ben Johnson's design. Trust the protection. Trust his reads. Because Ben Johnson is going to give him chances. The scheme will create windows. The blitzes from Brian Flores can be used against him. If the Bears can recognize where the pressure is coming from, there are going to be holes behind it. It's simple football math. If Flores is sending 6, someone is open. It's on Caleb to find that man. Get the ball out quickly. Take the layups. Then, when the defense adjusts, that's when you take the shot. That's when you go for the throat. And this receiving group is ready to go. DJ Moore has shown time and time again that he can beat press coverage. He's physical, he's explosive, and he's not afraid to go over the middle. Rome Odunze has the size and speed to stretch the field. Cole Kmet is a reliable target underneath. You got weapons. It's about putting them in the right positions. It's about sequencing plays, building rhythm, and staying unpredictable. If the Bears can establish the run, that opens everything up. And let's not overlook the run game tonight. The Vikings' interior defensive line is vulnerable. There are gaps to exploit. Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson need to create movement. Drew Dalman has to anchor and keep those A-gaps clean. This is the kind of game where DeAndre Swift can quietly take over. Not with 60-yard breakaways, but with 7-yard gains that were down the defense and 4 safeties to play up. And that's when you strike deep. Kyle Manengai is a key piece here too. His north-south style brings balance to the rotation. He's a one-cut runner who hits the hole decisively. That's the kind of back you want when you're trying to wear down a defense and control the tempo. If the Bears can get both guys involved, if they can get to 25-plus carries total, that usually signals offensive control. It means you're dictating terms. It means you're playing on your own script. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are circulating through the NFL community after a seemingly offhand comment from Bears head coach Ben Johnson that could send shockwaves through the league. According to sources close to the team, Johnson reportedly stated, "He won't play with me anymore," in reference to one of the Bears' key players. While the comment was brief, its implications are anything but. The remark has set tongues wagging among fans and analysts alike. Who exactly is the player at the center of this brewing storm? Insiders say the atmosphere in the locker room has been tense for weeks, and this latest revelation could signal a fracture that may lead to a trade, release, or at the very least, a heated confrontation behind closed doors. Ben Johnson, known for his fiery demeanor and uncompromising approach, has never shied away from making bold decisions, but this one could be his most headline-grabbing move yet. NFL insiders are already speculating about the potential fallout. Could this mean a mid-season shakeup for the Bears? Or is it a calculated tactic by Johnson to rattle the squad into better performance? Some analysts argue that such statements rarely come without precedent. Perhaps a series of disagreements, clashes over strategy, or disciplinary issues have driven the coach to this brink. Meanwhile, rival teams are reportedly keeping a close eye on the situation, sensing opportunity. The market for high-caliber players is always competitive, and any sign of discord in a team like the Bears is immediately a talking point around league offices. Social media has, of course, exploded with theories, some naming potential players, others speculating about the coach's intentions. Fans are torn between outrage and excitement, debating whether this could be the beginning of a new era or the end of a chapter for someone who has become a fixture in Chicago's lineup. Even more intriguing are the whispers from anonymous sources suggesting that talks with other franchises may already be underway. Could the Bears' locker room soon look drastically different? One thing is certain, Ben Johnson's words have sparked the kind of rumor mill frenzy that NFL off-seasons, and even regular seasons, live for. If this tension escalates, the ripple effects could extend far beyond the Windy City, affecting draft strategies, trades, and even the morale of teams across the league. For now, fans, analysts, and the players themselves are left in suspense, waiting for what could be one of the most shocking developments in recent Bears history. Johnson's remark, simple though it was, might just be the spark that ignites a storm. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.